Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim Watson speaking on Thursday, the 2nd of June. Goodness. Okay, let's look at the euro dollar first and looking at dailies here. And well, yesterday we ended up putting quite a sound bar in the end, a reasonable up bar, which is looking like we could head up towards the monthly pivot. But of course, today is a key day because we've got the ECB meeting and press conference continuing. So at 12:45 we'll have the bid rate, which is expected to stay exactly the same, and there's not expected to be any changes today. And then we've got Draghi speaking at 1:30, so all would be super duper until then, which leads into normally a quietish morning on the euro, which is getting a bit common lately. So really, if we were looking to trade it this morning, what's happening? Well, it, as I say, had a decent move during the later session of yesterday, sort of really leading it from 5 o'clock onwards, pushing up further, almost up to its R1 already, untouched daily pivot below. It's certainly a possibility, maybe having to wait though for that to occur. If it does occur when the ECB meeting goes ahead, we may see it dash down there. It's not a long way away relatively. It's just around about half a day at the moment, so certainly a possibility of that to be hit on the downside. Really depends on what beautiful news that Draghi discusses later. So as I said, I expect it to be quietish this morning, although we could get an unloading of positions before the news comes out, which in turn may see it move either way. Would like to obviously see the weekly pivot taken out. That is not that far away either. It's just see around about 80 odd pips, which is certainly a possibility on a day like this. Right, okay, the pound looking firstly at higher time frames, and we saw further sell off yesterday, came back, found support off the daily 50. It's getting a little bit of bounce off that. So it has tested it previously on the 16th, so it's not to say it's all over. We do have some data out this morning, construction PMI. It's a smaller mover, but can still give it a bit of volatility. Just looking, we have got the Bank of England governor speaking later as well. Just checking on the energy speaker. New 5. Oh, no, he's releasing. Carney's speaking about the new £5 note. So. I don't think we'll have a lot of volatility around that unless people don't like it, don't want it in their pockets. Okay, so at the moment, from a 60-minute perspective, well, it's started to pull back up, caught the daily pivot, and not really doing too much here at the moment. A break of these lows could see us continue to the downside, which if we hear any other Brexit polls or whatever else which are negative, we could see that happen. I'll just watch that carefully, but certainly we could see a continuation towards yesterday's lows and then maybe the S1. Any rallies? Well, we've still got the, as I say, untouched monthly pivot above us, which is a possibility as well. Certainly need some sort of rally at the moment to get up there, but it's not too far out of reach. Dollar yen. Dollar yen's seen saw quite a decent down day yesterday after getting into what was a relatively positive trend. Market's still chewing over the news of not increasing the taxes and also expecting further downside. But we've seen a bit of a retrace at the moment. It's sort of almost bullish Harami sort of pattern coming in on the 4 hours there. But it's early days. We've got a daily pivot above us, which is a possibility to be hit, high probability of being hit. Just got to get through these 60-21s really. If we can pass on through there, there is the possibility. We have got sort of a divergency sort of move. Let's have a look on the 4 hourly. There's not so much of it. Well, I don't know. Yep. Yes, no, yes. Possibility is fine divergent sort of move, sort of sitting over those lows, so we could see a move up towards the daily pivot there. Aussie dollar. Well, we saw a bit more of a continuation, a bit of a funny old day yesterday. We were chopping It's run into its already ran into the daily 21 yesterday when I did the recording, as I seem to remember. It never broke beyond that line. At the moment, it's looking at edging towards looking bearish and like it may continue to the downside. Lower highs in, lower lows sort of trying to coming into play. But well, maybe it's got a point of support around that 72.30 sort of zone, which has provided resistance previously. It may just hold it up a little bit longer. If it can push up, well, it's a real mess in terms of spikiness. It's not got a lot of range, but perhaps a break of the trend line that's sitting across the highs here. May see it's running up towards back into yesterday's Asian session high there, and the R1 level at 72.91. But it's been a much slower moving currency through our mornings and livening up through the US session. And may see much the same again. And finally, the Canadian dollar. Let's just look at the bigger time frame first, and well. Okay, it's just come to a bit of a halt here. It's just consolidated yesterday, inside bar yesterday, not really moving too much. Looked like it might have continued to the upside, but just consolidation on the 4 hours. Look, three bars in a row there, not really going anywhere whatsoever. And when you look at what's happening on the hourlies, it's got quite messy. I say quite messy, very messy. We had quite a sell-off in oil at one point, but it sort of recovered most of its losses and shot back up. It's sitting there at $49 a barrel, just under $49 a barrel at the moment. If you see a push up of this, well, perhaps again we should just be drawing a trend line across the lows here. If oil continues its route, I'd expect the Canadian dollar to come down towards its S1 there, and maybe a bit further. Okay, that's pretty much it. News today then, I've already covered. You've got the construction PMI UK this morning. There are OPEC meetings today actually, so you never know. We may get some more oil and Canadian dollar, and perhaps that's why we're seeing this so choppy at the moment, because of the OPEC meetings. We've got the European minimum bid rate coming out 12.45, so interest rate 12.45. Not expect to see any change there. The real change we would expect a little bit later. Of course, at 1.15 we've got the ADP non-farm payroll, so that is starting to give us a little bit more volatility again. So be watching for that. Later we've got ECB press conference at 1.30, and this week's unemployment claims come out at 1.30 as well. So dead on the dot at 1.30, we may see a bit of volatility because of being the non-farm payrolls week. They seem to have a little bit more action as well. Following on from that, we've got an FOMC speaker at 1.35. No, that's not going to do too much. It's just due to speak about the role of regulation in the banking system, so it's unlikely to do anything from there. I've said Carney speaking at 2 o'clock, but it's only unveiling the new £5 note. And we've got the crude oil inventories at 4 now. Again, that could create some volatility sitting around oil, so and the Canadian dollar. Right, that's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.